seems to me like whenever I talk about a game, I can't get away from whatever the previous game was. So we were watching Path of Exile, and when Path of Exile 2 was being announced and the gameplay footage was being shown, which, by the way, it did look really good. The only thing that was going on in the chat was people comparing it to Diablo 4 and talking about how Diablo 4 is dead because of this footage, how, Path of Exile was already a better game, even though none of us have played it, and then how Diablo is dog shit for not being able to do what Path of Exile 2 is doing. Like, the hyper-reactionary of this, and then you have the people that were like, Path of Exile 2 looks garbage, Diablo 4 is a million times better. It's almost like gaming politics, where no one can just talk about the game we're watching. Like, I was kind of hoping that while we were watching, it was just going to be a bunch of people like explaining why they like Path of Exile, what they're excited by, etc. And to be honest, my chat is mostly fairly positive adults, it seems. There's only been like 4 people ever banned in my Twitch chat. I'll get one guide sometime. But other than that, it's like, for the most part, I mean, my chat's pretty wholesome, I would say. Everyone's pretty good people. And we try really hard to cultivate an atmosphere of like, we don't shit talk other content creators. We try to be positive in general, not just about a game we're talking about, but we just try to like have a good time. My opinion is people come to a live stream to be entertained, listen to somebody talk, and also, for the most part, avoid most of the other bullshit. If someone wants to listen to politics, religion, your opinion on something controversial, or hear somebody whine the whole time, they'll just turn on the TV, because there's plenty of that. So for the most bit, I just try to have a good time in my streams. And I've learned that, like I've said before, I've learned that because before I was not always that way. If you dig up some of my older videos on my Darth channel, you're for sure going to see videos of me ranting and raving about games and etc. And I've matured out of that because I got sick of my own negativity, to be honest with you. And so now I'm kind of realizing, while just trying to talk about and look at games, it is hyper frustrating for me that gaming in general, this isn't just like a my chat thing. This isn't like a YouTube. This isn't a Twitch thing. This is gaming in general. Seems to have got so reactionary, where the only way that we can talk about if a game is good is by comparing it to another game and being like, this game's bad. Or it goes from the same people who were saying they love the game a week later, the next week it's the worst game ever and deserves to be review bombed. And I don't understand where the lack of nuance has gone in the conversation. It's actually frustrating for me because I try really hard nowadays to like walk down the path of like acknowledging the faults when I see them. And I will say freely in this video, because people still, for whatever reason, think that I'm trying to say the game's amazing. Diablo 4 is still a 6 or 7 out of 10, exactly like I thought it was in the betas before the channel literally went anywhere at all. It's a decent game. It's not groundbreaking and the best thing in the world, but it's a solid game to play for whatever amount of time you enjoy it. That's how I feel about Diablo 4, right? But still in this day and age, if you try to beat Kitty, Kitty wants in on this video too. She's been frustrated because she hasn't been allowed outside very much. But you can't talk about, my point is, you can't talk about a game anymore without having to be on like one side of a political fence. You either have to hate everything about it or love anything about it. And if you try to have that level of nuance where you walk down and you acknowledge the negatives and acknowledge the positives, you either get thrown in a basket of somebody who's like a Blizzard fanboy. I don't know why that's a thing. It's like, oh, you're a Blizzard fanboy and all this. Actually, I've barely played many of their games. In fact, I got roasted because I did a tier list of Blizzard games, but I played like half of them because I haven't even played the original ones. And that is when you would have made a Blizzard fanboy. I haven't really played D2 all the way. I've never even played D1. Didn't play original StarCraft. Didn't play the Warcrafts into World of Warcraft. I played StarCraft 2, but I didn't play the OG StarCraft. So it's like, no, I've played some of their recent games, and I didn't even really like Overwatch that much. I played Overwatch 2 for like all of 10 minutes. Okay, so it's difficult for me, and this isn't even a Blizzard conversation or about Diablo 4 or about the way that people perceive my opinions. It's more of the political gaming atmosphere in general that I'm sick of, which is that no matter what, I can't get away from just people just picking a fence. Like, I can't have any normal conversations with people, and it's actually driving me crazy lately because I just want to hear somebody say, well, I like this about the game, I don't like this about the game, and I'm playing the game until next year when Path of Exile 2 comes out in the beta in June, and then I'll go play that one. It's never that reasonable point. It's always like, oh, Diablo 4 has 1 year and then it's a dead game, it's in its grave, the devs are idiots. You know, it's always that. And I guess I'm just like using this video as my fucking therapy session for a moment or something. So I'm sorry, but it's I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but I can't get a normal conversation about gaming anymore. It's just always it's always all the way on one side or all the way on the other. And if you try to ride the line of like acknowledging what is okay, what is the problem, then both the sides hate you because the one side that's really positive about it's like, well, there's no negatives wrong about it at all. And then the negative side about it's like, well, you're just a paid shill or something. Like, I can't be reasonable in videos without having the vocal minority. And I realize the majority of you are silent, silent watchers, silent, view live stream lurkers and stuff that aren't, you guys just watch because you're driving and it's a podcast or in your head or something, and you're not seeing they're leaving like long nuanced breakdown comments, which is fine. Like, I understand that. But the people who are typically leaving like a lot of comments every single day, I'm getting a lot of positive ones. But I'm starting to get with the amount of reactions going on, negativity and all this stuff around the game. I'm starting to get a lot of people that are like choosing a side, and now even talking about Diablo 4 is like a war for some reason. And it's like, it's just a game, boys. It's literally a game. And the frustrating part for me is I can't talk about it like it's a game anymore. And you can't have an opinion about it like it's a game anymore. If you just want to talk about the game, suddenly, you're, oh, well, that means you're supporting shitty devs and shitty game making, and you're the reason that games in general are bad. Or, if you hate the game too much, then it's, oh, well, you're the reason that gaming is terrible because everything's negative and all that. Like, there's no, I understand that there's people that aren't this way, but it sure doesn't feel like those are the people that are in the conversation. And I don't know. It's got me bummed out a little bit today, where I just want to have a normal conversation with normal people with normal opinions. And there's just a lot of flaming going on between everybody, and people just can't get along. And it just frustrates me today. If I had to make one point in this video, it's this. I hope that we can all agree that we're playing games to have fun. That was the original interpretation of these games. In fact, a lot of the negative comments I'm seeing are that the fact that games aren't fun anymore. But then we spend a lot of time doing things that aren't fun, like getting in really hardcore discussions with people that we don't agree with when it's just an opinion. And opinions are just that, subjective thoughts that don't mean they're right because they have an opinion. So constantly arguing and yelling with each other and all this stuff is really just kind of burning me out a little bit, and it's ruining what gaming originally was for me. Like, how my cat's losing her mind in the background? Like, that is a good example of how I feel about where gaming is going. Maybe we're not all the way there, but I'm starting to see it's getting that way, where it's like you can't do anything without this constant meow, 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 meow in the background. Eventually you're just like, just stop. Just stop. I'm just trying to play a game. It's really not that serious. Maybe I wasted my own money playing the game. Maybe I'm wasting my own time playing the game. I'll play something else when I get bored, and it doesn't mean that other people can't have opinions about what's right or wrong about the game. I'm sure that's fine. It's not even like a thing of me getting mad at YouTubers or anything with opinion. It's really like everyone. Like you can't go, if I go to a Reddit, I know without even opening it today, I know it's going to be 15 comments mad at whatever the campfire chat was. I know there's going to be personal insults and all this stuff too. If I go to the forums, I know it's going to be the same thing. If I look at my own YouTube comments, there's going to be a lot of really positive comments about you guys being nice to me because for whatever reason, that's just still a flood of those nice comments coming in. But then there's going to be tons of counter comments of people just arguing and being mean to each other. Maybe I'm in the wrong business because I just, like, the yelling and freaking out about each other, like, actually just bums me out. I actually, before this, people ask me all the time, like, what my job was before this. And it was, I did call centers where I pick up the call and, like, take someone's complaint. And they would immediately be like, fuck you, and start yelling. And it just, like I said, it's just like the cat in the background where it's just losing your mind. And eventually, the longer it goes on, like, the more it drives you crazy. And I just wanted to rant about it because honestly, I'm a little bit frustrated today. I know I'm part of the problem. I know I'm a YouTuber that goes out and done opinions. I've done reaction videos. I have, years of me like still doing the exact same thing, getting mad about videos all the time. That's part of what I've done in the past. I know that. And maybe it's just people, maybe with age, people evolve out of it. But I've grown sick of my own constant negativity, and I've tried to mature out of it. And I'm just realizing like there's just a constant flow of new people in gaming, and it seems like it's spiraling more and more and more and more. And I know like anger and all that gets engagement. Yeah, I know that's the way it works. I know how the algorithms work and all that. So I don't know if there's a way out of it, but it's just I can't be the only one that feels like gaming went from something where everyone talks about it because we all love it and it builds a community off like, oh, you game too, when you meet somebody else, to like now it's just everyone just fights like all of the time.